The Secret Entrepreneur's Economic Hiring Model. This contrarian approach will crystallize your hiring process and thwart almost all of your worst hiring mistakes. Hey, welcome back to The Rare Advisor. Today, as promised, I want to talk to you about the entrepreneurial economic hiring model. The economic hiring model is a way to break through the vast majority of errors that corporate America has when they are hiring new people. So corporate America, big dumb companies, generally speaking, they do it exactly the worst possible way. They wait until all of their employees are so overstressed, so busting at the seams that they're about ready to have a mutiny on their hands, and then they decide to start throwing new bodies at the problem. And those new bodies come in. Nobody has time to train them. Now you're adding oil and water here, because you end up having the new people sitting there literally physically watching the existing people do their work, which just frustrates them because people are just hovering over their shoulders, still not helping them do the work, but nobody has time to train these new people. So corporate America oftentimes is absolutely dead wrong on their hiring approach. They tend to hire fast and fire slow. And you need to do the exact opposite. You need to be a contrarian. You need to hire slow and fire fast. And so you take your time, you make sure you stay ahead of it. You're hiring in the proper fashion so that these people are able to essentially underwrite themselves. That's the beauty of the economic hiring model. Because what you're going to do is you're going to take, let's just start in yourself. So let's say you're the rainmaker inside your practice, and you've got, let's say we're going to try to take 20%. So if this is a scale, this represents 100% of your time. We're going to take 20% of your time, and we are going to take that prep work. So again, game prep free. And repair. Again, that's a different discussion that we've talked about here on Rare, but it's when you focus on what generates revenue to your practice. That's your game time. So we're going to take your prep time, the non-game activities. We're going to have 20% of it, and we're going to go hire that off. We're going to delegate that off, and we're going to have somebody else do that. So now the question is, if I was to take 20% of your time and allow you to reapply it from prep to game, what would that be worth to the firm? How much money would that be worth? Well, previously we talked in a scenario about if you have $1 million of revenue coming in by a rainmaker, and they have 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, 40 hours a week, that's $500 an hour. But then if we said, well, let's say only 50% of their time is game time, then that means instead of $500 an hour, they're making $1,000 an hour for the firm when they're on game time. So if that's the case, you're talking about 20% of their time. That's going to be about 200 grand is represented in that prep. If we can realign it and reassign it to game, the game value would be $200,000 a year. So now that's the $200,000 a year that I'm going to use to underwrite this new job, to hire this new person. So I'm not betting on the new person as much as I'm betting on the horse in the barn, the horse that I already know who's in the barn, that rainmaker or that good existing employee, because you can, again, do this at any job level. I'm just doing it as though you're the rainmaker, but you can do it at any level in your practice. I'm going to reassign the time, the valuable time of the successful person on my team already, and that's what's going to generate the revenue to pay for the new person. Now, if I'm talking about 20% of the time, that's 1 day a week, right? On a 5-day work week, that's 1 day a week. So that 20%, if my new hire takes all week long to just do 1 day's worth of work, and that frees me up to generate another $200,000 of revenue into the practice, then that means I have $200,000 to pay that person. So let's just say that that person is earning, just keep the math easy, we're going to hire them at $50,000 a year. So I could be off by fourfold and still have that math work. In other words, if that person, if I'm hiring them at 50 grand and they only allow me to generate another 50 grand in revenue, now I'm a wash. If I hire that person at 50 grand and they allow me to generate $100,000 of extra revenue, I've doubled the money, and so on, 150, 200,000, and so on. So the beauty of this is that person is going to no doubt do more than just that 20%, just that one day's work, because now you could have them taking stuff off of other people's plates across the practice as well. And that math keeps compounding on top of itself. The point being, if you can visualize what I'm trying to say here, is I'm using the existing team to underwrite the new teammate because I'm going to reassign the value of my existing team in these different directions that I already know have proven themselves through our existing systems and processes to be worth X, Y, and Z. And now I've got X, Y, and Z used to offset this new person. Now, eventually, that new person is going to be a contributing player as well. And I'm going to start having revenue that I can tie to them on their game prep and free as well. But for the beginning, it's just a matter of getting things off of other people's plates. What is that worth to the practice? Figure that all out. You can have all that figured out before you even start the interviewing process. That's the beauty of this. I figured all that math out. Now I'm going to go try to find the right person. And then you can put some time frames in place so you don't rush into these deals. Again, hire slow, fire fast. If I find the right person, I can take the time to train them appropriately because I know the economics will hold water. Now, let's say I'm 6 months into this, I'm 12 months into this, I'm 9 months into it, whatever it is, and this is not the right person. Cut bait, fire fast, move on, find the next one. But give them the time that you can allot on the front end because you know how long. So say, all right, if I know it's going to take 6 months to properly train this person, I'm going to make a note literally on the calendar. I'm going to put a reminder on the calendar 6 months later to do an assessment. 4 months when I'm frustrated because I feel like we're not gaining any momentum, I'm going to remind myself I'm still 2 months out. And then at 6 months, most likely I'm going to be fine. But if I'm not, that would be my cutoff point. Now I'm going to fire and I'm going to go rehire and find that person again. But I'm going to run my math. I'm going to bet on the horses in the barn that I already know their value. And that's how I'm going to apply economically out to pay for and underwrite this new hire. It's called the Entrepreneur's Economic Hiring Model. Again, it's about identifying yourself first or the key members of your staff first, knowing what their revenue values are. If I take certain amounts of things off of their plate and I can fill it in with income generation, revenue generation items, what will that value the firm? And now there's where I'm getting my money to go hire, to make that next hire. It's pretty simple. Once you get it figured out, it will work just amazingly better than how you've been hiring in the past. Thanks, everybody. Hey, stay tuned. We'll be back with more on The Rare Advisor.